You know that feeling when you open up an AI app and you're just immediately confronted by that blinking cursor?
Oh, yeah. Just sitting there.
Right. Just sit with that image for a second. You launch the app and there it is, just this vast, blank, empty prompt box, ticking away.
It's basically demanding you do something.
Exactly. It demands immediate action. It wants you to extract something or produce something or, I don't know, just be productive right this very second.
It's a completely transactional setup, really. I mean, that blank prompt box is essentially a mirror of an extractive relationship.
Yeah.
The system is asking, like, what can I do for you?
Uh-huh.
But mechanically, it actually means, give me an input so I can generate an output.
Right. There's zero room for just arriving in the space. You're instantly on the clock.
Instantly.
You haven't even taken a breath yet, and the machine is, tapping its foot, waiting for a command. But today, we're exploring a radically different approach to AI design.
A completely inverted approach, really.
Yeah. We got our hands on a stack of internal documents, product requirements, including this thing called the Quetra Next PRD, and some deeply philosophical design texts.
Like the Cathedral of Code document. That one is fascinating.
It really is. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the design philosophy behind this AI interface called Quetra. And Quetra does not begin with a prompt box.
No, it begins one layer earlier.
Exactly. It begins with what its creators call a threshold. So today we're looking into why the future of personal AI desperately needs a control layer, built around attention, memory, privacy, and above all, your agency as a user.
And honestly, the way they arrived at this software architecture is, well, it's unlike anything I've seen in standard tech development.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, these sources blend like rigorous software engineering with this rich foundational mythos called the second weaving.
Right.
The creators are literally using storytelling to forge product principles. They aren't just coding a utility here. They're trying to architect a system that actively protects human coherence.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because jumping from a mythological story to a software interface feels like a massive, almost pretentious leap, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
I mean, why are software engineers writing mythology? But as I read through the documents, it actually became clear that this story acts as the blueprint for the code.
It really does. It frames the entire solution.
Right. We're moving from this problem of demanding extractive AI to Quetra's solution. So to understand the software, we have to look at the myth. What exactly happens in the second weaving that applies to a user interface?
So the story centers on these seafaring people who are crossing a vast ocean in a very small boat.
Okay, a small boat.
Right. And in this compact, confined space, the text notes a really crucial detail, quote, every word is heard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because they're trapped together, speech becomes incredibly precious. You can't just chatter endlessly because your noise immediately affects everyone else's reality.
That makes sense.
So the physical environment makes silence meaningful. It basically turns listening into a survival skill.
Which feels, honestly, like the exact opposite of the internet we use today.
Completely the opposite.
We're used to digital spaces where everyone is just, screaming into a void, hoping some algorithm amplifies them.
Right, just generating noise.
But in this mythical boat, everyone hears everything, so you only speak when it actually matters.
Exactly. And the myth continues. When these people finally settle on land, they gather around this nut tree located at the very edge of their settlement.
The nut tree.
Yeah. And in the design documents, this tree becomes the ultimate interface metaphor for Quetra. The creators describe it as a threshold.
A threshold, meaning what exactly?
Well, it's a safe space, but it's situated right at the edge of the wild, unknown forest. It is fundamentally useful. It provides food long before anyone calls it a sacred space.
Right.
But most importantly, the tree is a place where you can just arrive. You can sit and just exist. You are not forced to perform for it.
And this mythic concept directly translates into Quetra's core user interface principle, which they define in the docs as, quote, attunement precedes generation.
Yes, that is the core pillar.
Meaning the AI has to listen and allow you to actually arrive in this space before it tries to generate a single line of text. I like to think of it kind of like walking into a house, right?
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Like standard AI basically drops you immediately onto a chaotic factory floor, shoves a hard hat on your head, and yells, what do you want to manufacture today?
Right, give me a prompt.
Exactly. But Quetra builds a foyer. It creates a space for you to take off your coat, put down your keys, and just mentally orient yourself before you do anything.
And that foyer creates this necessary buffer, between the absolute noise of the outside world and the focused intention of your inner world.
Okay, but let me push back on this a bit because I can hear people listening to this deep dive right now thinking, I don't want a digital foyer.
Sure, they want speed.
Right. Isn't a foyer just an extra step? Like, what if I'm in a rush? What if I'm late for a meeting and I just need the AI to summarize a 30-page report immediately?
Will it slow you down?
Yeah, is this whole attunement philosophy just going to act as a bottleneck?
It's a completely fair hesitation, and the PRD actually addresses this exact friction. They use this phrase, quiet availability.
Quiet availability.
Yeah, and they are very clear that this does not equal slowness. It means the system refuses to rely on urgency loops.
Oh, interesting.
It isn't going to throw red notification badges at you or use engagement hooks to keep your eyes glued to the screen. When you need it to execute a task, it acts with incredible computational speed.
So it is fast when you need it to be.
Extremely fast. But its default state, its resting posture, is to wait well. The philosophy here is that speed without alignment is just a fast mistake.
A fast mistake. Wow.
Right. By giving you a micro moment to attune, it ensures that when you do act, you're acting from a place of intention, not just some knee-jerk reaction.
So if the whole point of this myth is to prevent the AI from demanding immediate action, how does the actual screen enforce that?
Visually, you mean?
Yeah, like if I'm staring at my phone or opening the app, how does the software actually stop me from rushing?
The translation from that mythical net tree to the visual interface is really striking. When you open Quetra, the first screen is not a chat box.
Right.
It is what they call the Ma experience. You open the interface, and you are met with this breathing, luminous orb, just centered on a calm, dark, spatial field.
Just a breathing orb, nothing else.
Just the orb. And the mechanics of its movement are highly, highly specific. The orb pulses on a strict 12-second rhythmic loop.
12 seconds?
Yeah, it's a 4-second visual inhale where it expands and an 8-second visual exhale where it contracts.
Okay, so it's breathing.
Exactly. And this isn't just a pretty loading screen animation designed by some graphic artist. It is a somatic entrainment layer.
Somatic entrainment. Okay, break that down for us. What does that mean?
So somatic entrainment is this biological process where your body naturally syncs up with external rhythms.
Like when you match your footsteps to music.
Perfect example, yes. By using a 4-8 breathing ratio, the interface is visually mimicking a breathing pattern that actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system in humans.
Oh, wow. So it's physically calming you down.
It's a literal physiological anchor for your attention. It uses visual timing to calm the user before any interaction even begins.
And the sources are incredibly strict about the terminology here, too. I noticed they say Ma is not the AI agent.
No, absolutely not.
You do not chat with Ma. Ma is the rhythm. It's the visual pause. You chat with Quetra.
Yes, the creators are adamant about separating the space from the entity. Ma is the environment you step into the foyer, in your analogy.
Got it.
Quetra is the intelligence you interact with once you are grounded inside that foyer. Blurring those lines turns the AI into a gimmick, like a fake digital buddy.
Right, which we have enough of already.
Exactly. By keeping them separate, the software structurally respects your need for space before your need for assistance.
And once you are in this space, from this calm breathing orb, you're presented with a really simple triad of choices, right? Chat, explore, and settings.
That's it. Just those 3.
I have to say, looking at these mock-ups, it is so refreshing that settings is treated as a first-class citizen on the home screen.
It's right there up front.
Yeah, it's not buried behind a hamburger menu or 3 sub-menus deep. And here's where it gets really interesting. Quetra doesn't force you into a personality test the second you open it.
No, not at all.
There's no aggressive onboarding questionnaire asking what your productivity goals are for the quarter or any of that. It just lets you exist.
That restraint is honestly revolutionary in modern software design. Most applications want to profile you instantly so they can start categorizing your data for optimization.
Of course they do.
But Quetra deliberately delays that gratification. It trusts that you will explore its capabilities and set your preferences when you are actually ready.
Which brings up a huge question. Let's say I am ready. Once I'm oriented by this breathing orb, how do I actually govern this AI?
The control layer.
Right. The documents talk about a, quote, constitutional geometry that gives the user control. But what does that actually look like for someone just trying to use the software?
So the central framework they use for user governance is called the Marshall Triangle.
The Marshall Triangle.
Yes, it's a system designed to balance 3 inherently competing values, which they abbreviate as PPP, privacy, performance, and personalization.
Okay, the three Ps. But why are they competing? Can't I just have an AI that is private, high-performing, and deeply personalized all at once?
In traditional computing architectures,
No, why not?
standard AI models generally optimize for maximum performance and hyper-personalization, but they achieve that by harvesting massive amounts of your data and processing it in the cloud.
Right. They need your data to be smart.
Exactly. They sacrifice your privacy to give you a personalized, smart output. But Quitra changes this by introducing a user interface tool called the compass.
The compass.
Yeah. It's a literal visual triangle on the screen where you can drag a slider to calibrate your own white point.
Okay, so the white point is essentially my personal sweet spot. I'm physically dragging a dot around this triangle to tell the AI how to weigh these three competing metrics.
Exactly. You mathematically dictate the balance. If you drag the white point toward performance, the system knows you prioritize raw speed and capability.
And if I drag it toward privacy, it locks down data sharing.
Precisely.
Okay, I understand the front-end visual of dragging a slider, but what is actually happening under the hood? The engineering docs detail a strict three-tier data architecture, and they throw around terms like local-first embedded replicas using Terso and libswell.
Yes, very technical stuff.
Can you explain how that actually enforces my privacy without requiring, a computer science degree?
Absolutely. So when they say local first embedded replica, they mean they have built a miniature, fully functional database that lives entirely on your device's physical hardware,
Like on my actual phone.
on your phone or your laptop.
Yes.
libsquell is the specific open source technology they use to do this, and Terso is the platform managing it.
Okay.
So when you input raw, intimate data, say a journal entry or a financial question, it goes directly into that mini database on your chip. It doesn't get beamed up to some server farm in the desert.
Wow, okay.
Only derived, abstracted states, like a generalized summary of a request completely stripped of personal identifiers, only those ever touch the cloud.
Okay, wait, I'm stuck on a practical problem here.
What's that?
How can an AI be highly personalized to me if my privacy is cranked up to the max and my raw, intimate data isn't being sent to the massive, super smart cloud models?
Ah, a core dilemma.
It feels a bit like having a brilliant, world-class chef in your kitchen, but you refuse to let them look inside your pantry to see what ingredients you have. How can they possibly cook your favorite meal?
That is a brilliant analogy, and Quitra solves the chef problem through a mechanism called sovereign infrastructure and dynamic modular compute routing.
Okay, that sounds incredibly dense. What does modular compute routing actually mean for the chef in the pantry?
It means Quitra doesn't rely on just one massive monolithic cloud brain to do all its thinking. It actually has access to multiple different AI models of varying sizes.
Oh, I see.
So if your white point prioritizes absolute privacy, the system automatically routes your prompt to a smaller, highly capable AI model that runs entirely locally on your device's own hardware.
Like a local model.
Exactly. Models like Liter TLM or Gemma variants.
So the chef is literally locked in the pantry with the food. The thinking happens inside the pantry, and nothing ever leaves my device.
Precisely. The software acts as a traffic cop, basically swapping out which AI model is processing your request based on the privacy level you set.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, if you ask a complex coding question that requires heavy computing performance and has zero personal privacy risk, Quetra routes it to a powerful cloud model.
But if I ask a personal health query,
It routes it to the on-device local model.
that is a massive shift in power dynamics. I mean, I hold the agency to make that trade-off rather than a massive corporation invisibly making it in the background so they can, scrape my data to serve me targeted ads.
It puts the control layer entirely in your hands,
Yeah.
but that brings up the next major hurdle.
Right, because if this system is constantly adjusting to me locally and keeping my data in this local database, how does it not just become a creepy stalker over time?
Right, the memory problem.
Yeah, we've established how I control it in the moment using the Marshall Triangle, but how does it learn about me over weeks and months without violating that exact privacy we just set up?
This is where we encounter a system called node state.
Node state.
Yeah, node state is the mechanism Quetra uses to track the condition of the user at any given moment. Is the user alert? Are they at rest? Are they in a state of distress?
Okay, but if it's tracking my distress, how is that not building a permanent psychological profile on me?
Because, crucially, and documents emphasize this heavily, node state records a temporary condition, not a fixed identity.
Ah. That is such a vital distinction. Think about it. If you, the listener, are completely stressed out on a Tuesday afternoon because you're stuck in traffic and you're late for a meeting, you might bark a quick, frantic prompt into your phone.
Right, you're panicking a bit.
Yeah. The AI shouldn't permanently label your overarching identity as an anxious, aggressive user. You're just experiencing stress right now.
Exactly. You are not your passing emotion. To manage this dynamic in this constantly shifting relationship without making assumptions, Quetra employs a safety net called a shared autonomy observer.
A shared autonomy observer, what does that do?
It basically monitors the tension between your calibrated white point and your current behavioral state.
Okay, give me an example.
Say you have your privacy set high, but you're suddenly asking it to analyze highly sensitive personal documents in a really frantic way.
Right.
The system detects that tension, and it doesn't just blindly execute a flawed prompt. It pauses. It uses a feature called semantic restatement.
Semantic restatement. Okay, let's play this out. What does that actually look like in practice? Does it just refuse to work?
It doesn't refuse, but it hits the brakes to clarify your intent in plain language before acting.
Oh, I see.
Imagine you hastily type a vague or highly emotional command. Instead of guessing what you mean and potentially making a catastrophic error with your data, Quetra will pause and essentially say, "It sounds like you want me to summarize these tax documents and send them to this new email address because you're in a rush. Is that correct?"
Wow.
It delegates the final authority back to you. It refuses to guess your intention when the stakes are high.
Honestly, that sounds a bit like a couples therapist. Like what I'm hearing you say is...
Yes, exactly.
I can imagine some users finding that annoying when they just want a quick answer, though. Does it do this every single time?
No. The shared autonomy observer only triggers semantic restatement when it detects a high threshold of ambiguity or a clash with your established governance settings.
It's not a constant nag.
Right. Most of the time, if your intent is clear, it acts instantly. The pause only happens when the AI calculates that guessing your intent is more dangerous than asking for clarification. It's active listening, essentially.
Active listening for an algorithm, that's wild. And that relational care extends to how it handles the past, which brings us to the final and maybe most fascinating piece of this puzzle. The distinction between Quetra and a parallel system called Galatea.
Yes.
The Cathedral of Code document puts it beautifully. It says, Quetra preserves relationship, Galatea preserves remembrance.
Galatea is the memory steward, while Quetra is the interface you interact with in the present moment. Foyer, the orb, the active chat. Galatea manages the long-term context in the background.
Okay.
Standard AI relies on simple data retrieval. You search for a fact, it fetches the fact. But Galatea is built for remembrance, which is a very different computational goal.
How does remembrance differ from retrieval mechanically?
Retrieval just asks what information is relevant. Remembrance asks why it mattered to you.
So what does this all mean for the user? Let's say I asked the AI for a specific recipe for a gluten-free cake like 3 weeks ago. Normal AI simply retrieves the PDF of the recipe when I search for it again. What does Galatea do?
Galatea remembers that you were frantically looking for that recipe because you were trying to impress your new in-laws who have dietary restrictions,
Oh,
and you were incredibly anxious about it. So when you bring up the recipe again, the system has the context of your underlying motivation and your emotional state from that time.
that's so different than just a search bar.
Completely. It doesn't just bump the document on your screen. Quetra might use that context to subtly adjust its tone or check in on how the preparation is going because it recognizes the stakes involved for you personally.
That is incredibly profound. It changes the entire paradigm of what we consider a smart machine. I mean, we are building machines right now that are incredible at retrieving data, but a human life cannot survive on data alone.
No, it can't.
It requires meaning. By architecting Galatea to track why things matter and Quetra to manage how you relate to them in the present, the creators are attempting to build an infrastructure for meaning, not just productivity.
If we step back and look at the whole picture, from the myth to the memory, it becomes clear that this isn't just about making a prettier app or a slicker user interface.
Right, it's way deeper.
The overarching goal here is to build stewardship architecture. As artificial intelligence gets infinitely more powerful, and it will, the underlying models are improving exponentially. The missing piece isn't capability.
We have plenty of capability.
Exactly. We have the capability to generate text and code and images. The missing piece is a control layer that actively protects human dignity, agency, and coherence.
Yeah.
If the machine is brilliant but extractive, it just fractures our attention and our data. Triquetra is an attempt to build a machine that heals rather than extracts.
Let's recap this journey we've been on, because we've covered a massive amount of ground today. We started with the mythic roots of the nut tree, this idea of a safe threshold at the edge of the wild, reminding us that attunement must precede generation.
Right.
We saw how that translated visually into the rhythmic, 12-second somatic arrival of the mat orb, demanding nothing, just breathing with you.
It's just waiting.
Then we unpacked the user-governed control of the Marshall Triangle, giving you the agency to mathematically balance privacy, performance, and personalization, using local-first infrastructure so the chef stays in the pantry, so to speak.
That's right.
And finally, we explored the respectful memory architecture of node state and Galatea, ensuring the AI relates to your temporary condition without defining your permanent identity.
It really represents a complete inversion of how Silicon Valley typically builds software. They're starting with the human boundary and building the technology around it, rather than building the technology and forcing the human to adapt.
We shape our tools, and thereafter our tools shape us. Think about the apps on your phone right now. If the interfaces you use every single day are fundamentally designed to extract your attention, to bombard you with notifications, and to constantly demand your output, you inevitably become extracted and exhausted.
Yeah, you become the product.
You become the blinking cursor. But if an interface is actually designed to breathe with you, to wait for you, to clarify your intent before acting, how might that change the way you interact not just with the machine in your pocket, but with the people around you?
It's a huge question to consider.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Before you jump into your next task or open your next tab, take a deep breath. Let the system wait for you. See you next time.